he's just under the surface. It's under the surface. Under fight control. Waiting for a chance. Yep.
No, they couldn't make it. Oh. So it's going to be next month.
Okay, cool.
I knew they couldn't make it.
Did you step up and instead? Yes. Okay. Well, we can't. Not an issue for them to order. Oh, okay. Is the news media here?
For the ball team? No. Yes. You talk too soon, Tim.
Is this what?
They're coming in now.
That's still not very many.
Elena, you ready? I'd like to call the April 2018 Livingston County Board meeting to order. But before I do, I'd like as many of you may know, Dave Rainbolt, an employee out the Livingston County Highway Department for several years, and he retired about 8 or 10 months ago, passed away suddenly, I think Monday. And so if we could just bow our heads and in memory of him for just a little while, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Amen. And I don't know, is Pastor Reichen here? We had a Pastor Reichen that was going to give the invocation. Doc, could I call on you, please? Then I will call on Doc Carley.
Good. Yeah, thanks. Dear Heavenly Father, please watch over us at this meeting tonight. Please be with all of us and help guide us to make the decisions that are best for the people of this county and that will honor you. Please be with us in all the things that we do as a county board. We appreciate all that you're going to do for us and the guidance that you give us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, and if you'd all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by John Slagle. Could I have a roll call, please, Christy?
All righty. Vietti. Yes. Bunning.
Present.
Slagle. Dyson.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Killian. Here. Kestner.
Present.
Ritter.
Here.
Gerwin.
Here.
Lovell. Allen. Arbogast.
Here.
Weller. Here. Carley.
Present.
Holt.
Here.
Runyon.
Here.
Mays.
Here.
Heath.
Here.
Weber. Here. Young.
Here.
Yoder.
Here.
Fannin.
Here. Okay, before we approve the agenda, there is a change to it. It's under B, the resolution for the unified basketball team. They were not able to get as many here as they wanted, so that has been postponed until May. And that's the only thing I think I really know that's different on there is no executive session. And so with that, I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move as amended.
Okay, there's a lot of them there, but I think it was Bunning and Fannin. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, all those opposed. Okay, the minutes today include the February 15th minutes as well as the March 15th minutes. So I hope you've had a chance to look over both of those. And with that,
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Fannin and Ritter, I think. We're getting on them tonight, I know. Good job, guys. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Okay, presentation. And I've turned this over and the presentation of the vehicle grant award to the Veterans Assistant. And I've asked Cheryl Harvey is here, and I've asked Joe Steichen to lead the board in what we're doing in this presentation.
With that, Mrs. Harvey, would you please step to the podium?
Can you turn that up? Just pull it up?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Maybe.
Is that better?
No, a lot better.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Cheryl Harvey, Public Affairs for Enbridge Energy, and on behalf of Enbridge, we're delighted to have the opportunity to present this Chevrolet Trailblazer SUV vehicle. It was driven by one of our supervisors, Stephanie Guerrero-Vitztum, who was a local Pontiac resident here, and she drove that for a few years. It only has a little over 70,000 miles on it. It's in great shape, so we're tickled that we're able to donate that to this commission, and delighted to have the opportunity for them to use this for hopefully for many years to come. Also, I'd just like to, if you don't mind, we'd like to recognize the veteran employees in the Flanagan area. So we have a close to 40 employees in the Flanagan area, and these are our veterans: Terry Winger, Air Force; Randy Pagel, Air Force; James Towner, Marines; Jake Garman, Navy; Stephanie Vitztum, Army and Navy; Dwayne Schwarzenbruber, Army; Chris Schultz, Army; and Chris Erickson, Army. So we're very proud of our veterans. We're very proud of all of the veterans that serve. I know that sounds trite, but freedom isn't free, is it? It takes a sacrifice, and
Amen.
so we really appreciate the sacrifice that these veterans have made, their families have made, and we're honored to have the privilege to donate this vehicle. And lastly, I'd just like to say that this is a National Safe Digging Month, and so if it's okay, I'd like to hand these little sunscreens out for everyone, and really it's just our reminder. It has 811, just to remind everybody to call 811 before you dig, because we've got a lot of landscaping and things going on in the next few weeks probably, so just a reminder to call 811 before digging. So I think that's it. We've got all of the paperwork here, and the vehicle is parked outside.
All right, I'd like to call up Tom Bailey and the members of the commission that are here to make the exchange with Mrs. Harvey.
No, do it now. But I think she wants you to sign it. But take them and the VAC committee.
I want to present you a check for I think it's $6,000.
I think it's $1.
Better check it to make sure it's right.
Okay, we have the bill of sale here, and we'll get you to sign that and title and everything, so
Didn't I sign it or?
we'll do that. Thank you. I'll just make all that.
One other thing that we're going to touch on here tonight, Mr. Chairman, is Tom Bailey, the superintendent of the VAC, is being recognized for 15 years of service tonight. Tom, you want to step up here?
Wondered what happened to that. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. And Mr. Chairman, we'd like a few minutes for the committee members, if they like to join Mrs. Harvey and the commission outside to take a picture at the exchange of the vehicle. We need a 10-minute recess.
Okay, we'll be recessed for 10 minutes. VAC members, please go with the commission.
Thank you for a spin, Tom.
You can go if you want. I mean, it's okay. I didn't think about limiting.
Are we all supposed to go or just the committee?
You can go, if you wish
If
to
you
go,
wanna
you
go.
may go. There is perhaps
I
a
thought-
photographic opportunity.
Well, yeah, but the leader's right here. So I don't think someone didn't look at that.
Oh, Jason, what are you doing, huh? Saw a little field work going on South Pontiac here,
Yeah,
which kind of surprised me.
working some ground up, working some ground.
Supposed to rain all day tomorrow, part of the day tomorrow, some of the day tomorrow, none of the
No,
day.
someone said not till late tomorrow night, which would work for me perfectly well, but
That doesn't always pan out.
Okay. It looks like everybody's pretty well made it back. We'll go ahead and reconvene that short recess. And with that, Mr. Schaefer, why don't you do the honors of presenting?
Sure.
Who's talking to us?
Yep. Lori Pope from Mack & Associates. Lori's been working with us. Is this your third audit with us, Lori? I think it's your third, right? Fourth. Time flies when you're having fun. Alas, I age and I can't keep track. But she's here to, she just completed the audit about 45 days ago, and these guys are so fast. Our former auditor, this used to be a process where we get it done, and about 6 months later, we'd get the audit. So much better performance. Thank you. So
Thank you very much.
please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lori Pope. Again, I'm representing Mack & Associates. I'd like to present to you this evening the audit that was performed. Last week, I was presenting the audit in its entirety to the Finance Committee. And tonight, I'm going to focus directly on some of the financial highlights and the basic financial statements themselves. So if you'd go ahead and take out your report. We'll go ahead past the table of contents. And the first component of our report is the independent auditor's report. That's a 3-page document, and basically what we're stating here is that we've issued a clean opinion on the financial statement. That's an unmodified opinion, and we feel that the financial statements reflected in this reporting is stated fairly in all material respects. We'll go ahead and turn to the management discussions and analysis. That's the second component of this report. On page 4, I just want to go through a few financial highlights before we hit the basic financial statements. The total county net position decreased by $491,000 from $86.8 million. It was $87.3 million to $86.8 million in 2017. During the fiscal year, there was the general fund that operated within budget, ended the year with a fund balance of $25.6 million. That's an increase of 1% from the previous year. The Public Health Fund, another major fund, ended the year with a $1.3 million balance. And the Mental Health Fund, another of the major funds, ended with a fund balance of $1.4 million. Overall, the governmental funds of the county ended with a total fund balance of $35,188,000. And this represents an increase of 3% over the prior year. As I mentioned, the general fund's total expenditures were $4.6 million less than the budgeted. The total expenditures in the general fund for the year were $14.8 million. We'll go ahead and jump to the basic financial statements of the county, and those begin on page 14. If you'll turn to page 14, you're looking at Statement A. This is a government-wide financial statement that directly states that we not only include the governmental activities, but also the business-type activities and any component units of the county. As you can see here, we have the zero balances for the business-type activity, and that's the Livingston Manor Nursing Home, which was closed and demolished during the fiscal year under audit. And the component unit, as you can see, is also a zero balance. It was the ETSB, which has now been consolidated into the Vermilion Valley ETSB. With that being said, we'll focus on the totals there. To your right, we have total assets of the county of $89.9 million, up from $89.4 million in the prior year. Total deferred outflows of resources, we're looking at property taxes levied for the subsequent years of $8.4 million and deferred outflows from pensions of $4.7 million, for a total deferred outflows of $13 million. The total liabilities ended the year at $6.9 million. That's down from $7.4 in the previous year. The total deferred inflows of resources, which are the property tax levy in subsequent years, of $8.4, and the deferred inflows from pensions of $865,000. The total net position, the net investment in capital assets of $53.5 million. We have the restricted amounts, roads and bridges of $405,000, retirement fund IMRF of $2.3, public health and welfare of $255,000, judiciary and court related of $122, public safety of $197,000, record keeping of $38,000, general government of $277,000, and insurance of $454,000, with a total unrestricted net position of $29,222,000, inclusive of the total net position in total of $86,821,930, which was a decrease of about $500,000 from the previous year. If you'll go ahead and turn to page 15, we're looking at Statement B, the government-wide financial statement, which is basically an income statement. We have the total expenditures of governmental activities at $25.8 million. We have total general revenues and transfers of $16 million for a total change in net position of an increase of the governmental activities for $1.4 million, a decrease in the business activities, which is the demolition and transfer of assets from the nursing home demolition of $1.8 million, for a total overall net position of $86,822,000. If you'll turn to Statement C, you're looking at a balance sheet for the total governmental funds. We have the major funds broken out, but I will focus on the total to your right. We're looking at total assets and deferred outflows of resources of $44.8 million, an increase from $43.4 in the previous year. Total liabilities of $1.2 million, an increase from $1.1 in the previous year. And total deferred inflows of resources of $8.4 million, and a total fund balance at the end of the year of $35,188,754. The next page, on page 17, is a required component of our reporting showing how the fund balance of governmental funds ties back to the net position of governmental funds at $86,821,000. Statement D is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances. Again, there's a focus on the major governmental funds in this reporting. We will focus on the totals to your right. Total revenues increased from the previous year at $23.6 million. Total expenditures, there was a decrease at $23 million. And then the total excess was an increase of $564,000. Total transfers in of $542,000 for a net change in fund balance for the year of $1.1 million. The next page is a reconciliation to the statement of net position. So you're looking at the tie out of the change to $1.3 million. Statement E is the proprietary fund, which is the Livingston Manor Nursing Home. As you can see, all the assets have been transferred accordingly. The proprietary fund, Statement F, you're looking at the revenues, expenses, and changes in that net position. So you're looking at the non-operating revenues loss of $1.8 million, which includes the transfer to the county construction and building renovation fund, and also the disposal of the assets. If you'll turn to page 23, Statement G is the cash flow statement, and as you can see, the cash flow is now zero, mainly due to the transfer out of the $542,000 to the construction fund. And the next page, Statement F, is fiduciary funds. That means those are not for use by the county, but they're held in trust. The private purpose trust funds include the MFT funds with total assets of $2.6 million. The agency funds include all funds of the different departments that are being held on behalf at $7.5 million for a total of $10,115,000. On page 25, you're looking at the changes. There was total additions in of $2.4 million, total deductions for transportation expenses for MFT of $2.8 million for a decrease in the fund of $400,000. The next component of reporting is the notes to financial statements. There are no highlights there that I'd like to go over, so we'll go ahead and start in with the next section of the reporting. On the other supplemental information, Schedule B1 will be on page 77. I just wanted to take a moment to note that the general fund here is laid out between the different accounts within the general fund, and this is a good interpretation of where the funds and the transfers between those funds have occurred. The total liabilities, deferred inflows, and fund balances at the end of the year are $30,798,000. The total revenues for the general account, again, as I said, increased, and the total expenditures decreased, and you were definitely within budget for spending. I'd like to go ahead and open it up to anyone that may have any questions regarding the audit or the report itself.
Tim, would you like to make a motion to approve the
I'd
audit?
firstly like to thank Lori, and then second, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the audit of Mack and Associates for this year.
Joe, I think you wanted to second it, and we want to roll call that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Vietti? Yes. Bunning?
Yes.
Slagle?
Yes.
Steichen?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Killian? Yes. Kestner? Ritter?
Yes.
Gerwin? Yes. Lovell?
Yes.
Allen? Arbogast?
Yes.
Weller? Carly?
Yes.
Holt?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Heath?
Yes.
Weber? Young?
Yes.
Yoder?
Yes.
Fannin?
Okay, going to the consent agenda. Marty, were those your two appointments?
Yes, they were.
You got anything you want to say about them?
Both reappointments.
Okay,
Not much else to say.
okay. Then I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Ritter. Killian. Any comment? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Vietti? Yes. Bunning?
Yes.
Slagle?
Yes.
Ingalls? Steichen?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Killian?
Yes.
Kestner?
Yeah.
Ritter?
Yes.
Gerwin?
Yes.
Lovell?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Arbogast?
Yes.
Weller? Carly? Yes. Holt?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Heath?
Yes.
Weber? Yes. Young?
Yes.
Yoder?
Yes.
Fannin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along now to the committee report. We have Highway Committee with Chairman Bunning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In Clay Metcalf's absence, we've asked Trent to come up and talk about, we've got 4 action items to bring forth for the committee. We had met earlier today, had gone through them, and we're going to send them forward. But before we do so, Trent, would you like to go through them one at a time, please?
Sure. The first one, this is from our letting results that we had on April 3rd. The Dwight Road District Bridge is 1 mile south of Dwight on 3100 North. This is a township bridge program project where the state will pay 80% of that, township pays 10%, and then the county pays the other 10%. So the results of that one was $555,000 roughly, where the county share will be around $55,500. The second project is on the county line between Livingston County and Kankakee. This is about a half a mile south of Reddick. This one is split between the 2 counties, and it's based on our EAVs where Kankakee County is about 75% more than Livingston County's EAV, so our share of the $262,000 is about $65,600 for our 25%. Those are the letting results. The next one is a bridge petition for Sunbury Road District. This is the township petitioning us for the replacement of a crossroad culvert on 1800 East Road. They're recommending, well, we recommend it be a 48-inch pipe culvert instead of a 30-inch that's currently there. So that's the estimated cost of $5,000 that will split 50-50 with the township once that's built. The next thing on the list is another petition from Newtown Township. This is for repairs to timber planking on one of their bridge that's just north of our county highway. It's estimated at $20,000, and again, we will split that 50-50 with the townships. And then the last one is a petition for another bridge repair. This is one that our county highway department is going to do ourselves, so we're able to keep the cost down a little bit and help the township out, help us out. This is riprap repair underneath the bridge. There's some scour on the east abutment, so we're proposing to go in there and put riprap underneath the entire thing, and that's estimated at $14,500, where we'll split that cost as well with the township.
Any questions for Trent or myself? Seeing none, I will move it, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Was that Runyon? Any discussion? putting them all together, right?
Put them all together.
A little roll call.
Fieri. Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Irwin.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller. Carly.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Heath.
Yes.
Weber. Young.
Yes.
Yoder.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Thank you, Trent. Happy birthday and go Cubs.
Okay. Ag and Zoning Committee, Mr. Holt, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Ag Committee met, and we have two solar energy applications that we will be reviewing in the future. We have those to review. Each one of us got a copy, and I think also the ZBA got a copy, and Planning Commission, so we all have copies to look at. On the solid waste, there was, they told us that we had a meeting with Republic. There's 7 wells that they are in the process of replacing, repairing at the landfill. They also told us that 25 acres are going to be putting the final cover on that. They also said that they're going to try something different that has been utilized at other facilities. They got 3 new caisson wells. Caisson well, as it was described to me, is a large pipe, 24-inch, and then there's a 8-inch pipe in the center, and they can adjust that center pipe to allow for more liquid or less liquid to come in when they're pumping it out. They did not have any, as I told you before, they've done they're trying a flat compaction, thinking they're going to get more material in the same area, and they have not really done a test on that, but it seems to be working fine. Streeter is, landfill is shut down. They added a flare over there. Actually, you can't see it from the road. You'd have to go around on the backside to see it, but there's 2 flares there now to burn off any excess gas. With the upcoming potential for the solar farms and the possibility of having a windmill application, Chuck thought it was he needed, and he budgeted for a part-time typist, and he and Ginger put that together, and they do have a job posting out internally for that position. We have also discussed briefly the possibility of doing an extension to the host agreement, so we're presently working on that. And that's the end of my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving on to Sheriff Jail License Committee, Mr. Kestner, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee met Tuesday, April 3rd in the meeting room. We received the monthly department report. We had our guests were the superintendent of the jail and the sergeant of the proactive unit. We were told that there are a total of 87 out-of-county inmates housed in the Livingston County Jail and 48 Livingston County inmates. We also received a liquor license checklist, which is annual checklist, and the committee approved those of all the liquor licensees in the county. And then we also approved the February Fair American Legion request for a raffle for the February Fair. And I think we have to make a motion to approve the liquor license renewals, and I'll make that motion, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
you put them both there?
Yeah,
Okay, and the mobile home renewal.
right.
A second? Mr. Holt? Any discussion? Okay, call for a voice vote, please, Christie. Oh, voice vote, we can voice.
Yeah, voice
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Okay, amendment to the standing rules, Mr. Fannin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had the appointments that were on the presentation earlier. I brought last month the amendments to the standing rules. They were to be reviewed for a month and then voted on tonight. There was one small change in respect to the language as the chairman serving as an alternate, and it was noted and some verbiage was changed to indicate that it would only be to fill a quorum. And with those changes, I would make a motion to approve the amendments to the standing rules.
Ritter, was that a second? Okay, discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Beatty? Yes. Bunny?
No.
Flagel?
Yes.
Ingalls? Steichen?
No.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Killian? Kestner?
Yes.
Ritter?
Yes.
Gerwin? No. Lovell?
Yes.
Allen? Yes. Arbogast?
No.
Weller? No. Carly? Yes. Holt?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
Mays?
No.
Heath?
Yes.
Weber? Young?
Yes.
Yoder?
Yes.
Fannin?
Yes.
16 ayes.
Okay. The other business that we discussed, Mr. Chairman, was the county board reorganization and redistricting. Alina brought us some information on possibilities of different districts besides just the three. There was a 6 district and an 18 district. So we're chewing that over this month. I'm going to revisit that next month. And that is all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Finance Committee, Mr. Schaefer, Chairman.
Business to have to come before you, Mr. Chairman, is the sale of 7 vehicles that have been determined to be excess property. Most of those come from the Sheriff's Department. The fleet's been rotated through, and we have 7 to get rid of. So I'd like to motion that we be put in a position to get rid of those 7.
Okay, Kestner, did you make the motion?
It'll work. I'll second it.
Okay,
I'm an easy man to get.
okay, well, good. Any discussion?
Mr. Flexible.
Exactly.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Beatty? Yes. Bunny?
Yes.
Slagle?
Yes.
Steichen?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Killian?
Yes.
Kestner?
Yes.
Ritter?
Yes.
Gerwin? Yes. Lovell?
Yes.
Allen? Arbogast?
Yes.
Weller? Carly? Yes. Holt?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Heath?
Yes.
Weber? Young?
Yes.
Yoder?
Yes.
Fannin?
Yes.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schaefer. Public Property Committee, and Mr. Ingalls I see is gone, and I think Mr. Weber wasn't able to be there. I'm gonna, with Alina's help and the committee members, we had Con Ed came in, and they were wanting to do a survey of our buildings to see where they could possibly save some heat. They won't do anything but look at things over. They don't really replace, valves or any of the mechanicals. They just make recommendations, more or less, on how we can try to save some heat. There's no cost to the county on it. So it's, it's a freebie, and we can take their suggestions or reject them. So, Alina, anything to add? Okay, any committee members? Huh? Yeah. Okay. No, I won't make the motion. Could I have a motion to approve that, Holt and who? Weber. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same side. Information and Technology, Mrs. Allen, Chairman.
Okay, the committee met with John, and he indicated that he is working with the county, or he did work with the county clerk during the election. He's been working on the telephone changeover and has been working to resolve issues with Spillman. He also indicated that he is working on the Safe Schools program with the Sheriff's Department and 911. And he stated that Odell and Sonneman are going to be the last ones to be added. That ends my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen. Personnel Committee, Mrs. Arbogast, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Usually I'm pretty quiet, but now you're going to get an earful. So, personnel met their manual review. The committee received the changes. We are reviewing them, reviewing those changes, and we'll take action next committee meeting on those so we can have time to review them. Also, we talked about sexual harassment training. Most of the employees, department heads have signed up for the classes. Classes are only an hour long, and I am hoping that most of all of these board members have done the same, signed up. So, also, the finance director position has been filled. Diane Schwann has accepted the position, in turn leaving her part-time position open, but that will be determined on a later date to see if that needs to be filled at all. See if she will need anybody for her. Circuit clerk's attrition position, 2 employees, 1 full and 1 part-time has resigned. The part-time position has been posted and the full-time position is being fulfilled by the attrition. And then last, salary schedule. The schedule has not been changed since January 1st, 2011. A proposed update was presented in 2014, but no action was taken. The county is having difficulties fulfilling clerical positions due to the low entry-level salary, so Ginger is looking into reviewing that, and the committee will review that next month as well. And take action? Yes. If needed, yes. And that ends my report.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Arbogast. Going right on to Veterans Assistance Committee, Mr. Station.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to report that the bills for the veterans for the month are way down. Right now, we are substantially under budget, and if you've seen from tonight, the addition of another vehicle for $1 is going to help the cost savings tremendously. We're in a very good position, and thanks again to Enbridge for what they've done. And I'd like to take this time to ask Mr. Mike, I can't remember if I got his last name. Mike, the commission chair, president, to come up here and say a few words. What is it? No, Stoudemire. No, Studebaker. Studebaker. I knew I'd get it. Mike Studebaker.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you,
Yep.
Joe. First, I would like to thank Joe for all of his hard work in securing us that vehicle. He did all the groundwork for us, knew who to talk to, where to apply, and I really want to thank him for that. This vehicle is going to help us out tremendously. It'll take some of the burden off of our vans. If we only have maybe 1 or 2 veterans going to a hospital, we'll probably use it instead of one of our vans if they're able to use it. So I would just like to thank also the county board for your continued support in supporting the VAC. And if you ever have any questions or want to come to our meetings, you are more than welcome to show up. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Chris. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Administrative Committee, it's been a busy month. I think maybe the one thing that would concern the biggest group, we have an appointment to make to the county board, and the precinct chairman in Livingston County signed off, and so next month I will be appointing Linda Ambrose to serve Justin Gimbel's spot on the board. Linda was elected in the primary to serve her district, and she was the leading vote getter of those down in Fairbury. And so this will give her a chance to get a up and quicker start, finding out all the ropes and everything. So with that, next month, we will be swearing in Linda Ambrose. I do not think we have a recreation or a housing authority report this month. Is that right, guys? And so we are going to go to public comment. How many would like to speak during the public comment session? Okay, Mr. Patterson, come on down.
I just have a few brief things that I want to discuss about the home health program. People have been sending me the responses they've been receiving from you all and responses that I've received, and there were just a few things that I wanted to address. Some people are under the opinion that this program is in competition with local business, especially housekeeping services, and this is definitely not the case. The clients in this program must show a medical need, the same medical need as assessed for the nursing home. The kind of care that they get at home is delegated by a registered nurse, and they're duties that can only be performed by a certified nursing assistant. This would be bathing, nail clipping, wound care, med compliance, safety checks, wellness checks, blood pressure checks, all those kind of things that a nurse can delegate to a CNA. And that's something that no housekeeper should do or would be able to do. Some people have pointed out that Melinda has indicated that she would possibly or probably be able to use money from other levies to keep the nursing portion of the program in place. That's a critical part to be able to have the nurses go into the homes. But if the person needs the homemaking services, such as the bathing and those kinds of things, they'll still end up in the nursing home, even if there's a nurse in the program. Some people say that the clients that are getting these services could get them from other sources, such as the state. And someone made the comment that they fall through the cracks because they're too wealthy. I just want to point out what being too wealthy looks like. Being too wealthy for the state, you have to meet the criteria. You can have one home, one car, and a prepaid funeral. In addition to that, you can have no more assets than $17,500, which includes all of your savings, anything that you have, plus your salary. I don't think if you have a little bit over that you're going to be considered too wealthy. Some people have been getting these supports from the county because they're in spend down. They're spending down money so they meet the criteria for the state. And so some people have been on for a while, and then they're able to get the supports from the state when they meet that new criteria. If you've ever dealt with the Department of Rehab Services or trying to get a disability approved, it can take weeks or months and sometimes even over a year to get approval. Some of the people in this program have been getting the supports from the county until they're able to get approved for these during that waiting time. Some people have kind of been saying it's like fraud if you have a certain amount of money and you're taking these services. I just want to point out that the county approved the criteria for this program. The criteria has been the same from what I can understand from the very beginning. If someone meets the criteria and they have the medical need, I don't think if they have some extra income or something that's really fraud. It's no different than keeping your money offshore so you don't have to pay taxes on it. Is it legal? Yes. Is it the best thing to do? Perhaps not. It's no different than buying a condominium for a parent and taking out a mortgage and then deducting the interest from the mortgage from your income tax. That's legal as well. Someone made the comment that 25% of the county budget goes to social services. Alina and I have been looking at this and trying to figure out exactly where that number comes from. But one thing that's important to note, in the budget, it might be a certain amount, but Melinda's program gets 42% reimbursement from the state. The mental health board gets 50% or more back from the state. So the county may put that money up front, but then it's reimbursed afterwards. So if you look into the revenue that comes from that, I'm sure it's much less than 25%. In conclusion, I just want to say, and we listened to the report again today, that the county levies around $8 million, and they have $30 million some in the bank. This program's asking for just a little over $200,000. And when you compared that to the $1.8 million that's budgeted for economic development, I think we need, looking at the priority is important here. I'm requesting that the board reconsider the sunsetting of the program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else out there? Okay. Did you have your hand up, Mrs. Lupit? Okay.
Substitution for the chairman for committee members. I sent out 23 emails this week and received a response from one person. And I don't know why people voted to approve that. Did anyone check the legal status of that as a county board being able to do that and have one member belong to all of the committees with possible voting rights? Did you?
No, I think I did not.
Okay,
I voted against it, and I think it's a good question.
Yeah, I don't have that information, but I have that question into the state's attorney general, the business, I can't remember the name, there's a state business association that you can write to. I think it's association.
Well, our state's attorney is behind you.
I put it all into his office anyways.
And I'm sure he will guide us in the right direction if that is not legal. I think the biggest reason we did it was sometimes we do not have a quorum, we're one short, and then that means the county has to pay the board members for a per diem and mileage, and there's no action that takes place. Therefore, another meeting, special meeting, has to be called. It was only trying to save money.
I had that conversation with you. Nobody else bothered to respond to the query, and I do think that it's something, it might be nice for the county to try to save the $45 per diem for whoever goes to those committee meetings or doesn't show up. But you can still have a discussion, you just don't vote.
I do not vote on anything else except...
No, I'm saying not just you personally. If you have a committee that's shorthanded, you can still discuss issues. If the public comes, they can still hear the discussion. A vote just can't be taken in that.
No.
But the other thing, too...
And we don't.
The other thing, too, is you're representing people of this community, of the entire county. And if you are in one district and make votes on all of these things, there's one person that's voting for all of those things in a specific district. It's not distributed as evenly as the committees would be in other cases. That's all. I just want to know if it was looked at, and I'm letting you know that I'm looking into that, and I hope that, you're all right. If you didn't check the legality of it, that concerns me, because I think action should be taken so that the public knows that you're doing things that are legally approved.
Mrs. Hartley, do you have a comment?
Yeah, just so all the board members and Mrs. Lipinski knows that anytime we forward any of these changes to the full board, we always have them reviewed by legal counsel prior to doing so. So these changes were reviewed prior to our last meeting in March, and our state's attorney, Randy Yednock, did review them.
Okay. Well, I didn't respond to citizens' questions.
Okay. With that, I think we're ready for that special motion, Mr. Holt? Huh? Okay, and a second by Mr. Holt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Dar Holt. Vietti made the motion. Holt got the second. And we are adjourned. Thank you. Yeah, she'd like them.